Softwares. What is a software? What is a software? You've been hearing software, or you've been hearing apps, the mobile apps. You've been hearing applications and stuff. What are these things at all? Softwares. We have two types of softwares. Okay, we have the operating system software, and we have the application softwares. The operating system softwares and application softwares. Now, the operating system softwares tells the computer how to work or operate. It tells the computer how to work or operate. It also allows you to load other programs that do specialized tasks on your computer. You understand? It also serves as an interface between the computer and the user. So this computer that you see, we describe the computer as an entity on its own. You, the user, operating the computer, you are also an entity. Now, the interface that exists between the computer and the user is the operating system software. So the operating system software accepts input from the user, and then it operates based on the input given. I hope you understand. So we have two types of operating systems. We have the character user interface. The character user interface. Let me show you an example of the character user interface. A character user interface is like operating with the DOS commands. You only use DOS, or you only use commands to operate the computer. So for instance, I will hold the control key, I'll hold the Windows logo key and press R. Let me do that again. I'll hold the Windows logo key and press R. Now, this is a round dialog box that is appearing. Now I'll type CMD. CMD simply means command. CMD simply means command. So when I type the CMD, I click on OK. Now this is what happens. Okay. Now, in this interface, it doesn't accept graphical instructions. It only accepts command instructions, like entering specific commands that will execute or generate an installation script. For instance, when I type a command like dir, then I press the enter key. What I'm trying to instruct the computer to do is that I want the computer to display all contents or all files and folders in this particular directory or folder. In the character user interface, we use directories to replace folders. You understand? So when you hear directories here, I specifically means folders. When I type dir and I press enter, it will still display it. Another command I can use in the character user interface is I type cd, then I type ... It will take the directory back once. So in this case, I am in C drive here, and then there's a folder called users. There's another folder inside users called what? User. Now I am here and I want to go back once. So I type cd ... Then I press the enter key. What happens is that I have gone back once. I'm no more inside the user folder. I am now inside the what? The users folder. So when I type dir again, the content I'm going to get here will be different from the content that I'll get right now. Now look at this. dir. I press the enter key. You see, this gives you only 4 directories. I just told you that the directories in Windows means folders. So in the character user interface, it means directories. Okay. So I have 4 directories. and the directives are assigned to this. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 directories in here, but 0 files. There are no files here. Now, when you go to the previous one, you realize that there are 15 directories. When you count them, from here to here is what? From here to here is 15 directories, but there are no files, 0 files. You understand? The same way I can do CD back again. CD ... will take me back. So now I'm in the C drive. The C drive. So when I type dir there and I press enter, it has displayed different files. It's showing different files here. You understand? So this is different from this one, and this is also different from the previous ones that we've done. So in here we use command. Now I want all this information here to be cleared. All these things here, I want it to be cleared. What I can do is that I type another command called CLS. CLS means clear screen. Then I press the enter key. It has cleared everything on the board for me. I hope you understand. So earlier on, the operating system that were built were running on commands like this. You understand? They were running on commands like this. So if you don't know a command, a particular command, you will not be able to use the machine. If I want to go off here, during those times, there were no close buttons like we see today. All these things were not available. So if I want to move out of here, there's another command I'll type, which is exit, EXIT. When I hit the enter key, it would automatically close the whole of the window. Now see, my window is closed. I hope you understand. My window is closed. So let me go back to the character user interface again. Control R would display the run command. Then I type CMD. Then I hit the enter key or I press OK. I'm back there again. Okay. Now, I want to test the connectivity, whether the internet is connected. In the graphical user interface, you realize that you can even see it here. If it's connected, you realize that this thing is active. If it's not connected, you will not see this thing here. It will not be active, or you see this with an accent on it. How do I test in the character user interface whether it is active? What I need to do is type a command called ping space. Maybe I want to test if Google is working fine. So ping www.google.com. Then I press the enter key. Let's see if Google is working. This is a command that, or this is a feedback that Google is giving me. It gave me one request timeout. That means that at this present moment, Google cannot be accessed right now. So all my 4 feedbacks shows that Google is not present now because I have closed that gateway. Now let me do that to our sites. Ping www.matrisoft.com. Microsoft 2 is not giving us a feedback. So I have closed, because of our network, I don't want to get any foreign interferences in it. So I have closed all of those ports. That is why you are getting this feedback. I hope you understand. So these are all commands that you can use to test your connectivities, or you can use to operate the character user interface. You understand? There are a lot more commands, a lot more commands that you have to use. So I taught you the CLS. I want to clear the screen. The screen is off. I hope you understand. I want to move away from here. I use EXIT, which is the exit. I'm off. I don't want to bore you with character user interface now. The second type of operating system that we have is the graphical user interface. The graphical user interface. So in the graphical user interface, now moving away from the character user interface, the graphical user interface has been designed in such a way that it is more user-friendly than the character user interface. It's more user-friendly. Sometimes some of the commands has been embedded with graphics so that you want to see the date and time. In the character user interface, you type date. Let me exhibit that there for you. I want to see the date and time. I just type date. Then it tells me the current date is 23rd February 22. Now, if I want to change the date, I don't want this date and I want to change it. It has given me a format to use. I should start with DD, which is a day, MM, which is a month, YY, which is a year. This is how it's going to be. The DD, it should be 2 characters. That is why you have DD there. If it wants you to use 1 character, it will just put D. I hope you understand. So if today is 1st February 2022 or 2022, so you put 01 and not just 1. You put 01, you put MM, the MM is the month. So February is 02. Then the year, it wants the last 2 digits and not all. So the 22, you put it there. So it will be 01, 02, 22. I hope you understand. This is how the character user interface works. If you think the date is correct, you just enter again and it accepts it. If I want to see the time of the computer, I just type time. It has given you the current time and has given you even in seconds and in milliseconds. So you have hour, you have minutes. This is the hour, this is the minute, this is the seconds, and this is the milliseconds. If I type enter, if I press the enter key, it means I'm accepting this time. Let me do that again. Realize that the time would change. The feedback that I got the first time, it will change. Now I realize that when I just type time again, it has given me 21:01:01:77. It has changed the minutes, the seconds, and then the milliseconds. I hope you understand. Now, in the graphical user interface, it is not like that. In the graphical user interface, it has been pre-configured or predefined for you. You don't have to type any command to operate the computer. You can see the date and time displayed at the right-hand side on the taskbar. The last time you learned that this area is what you call the taskbar. The taskbar. So it has been displayed on the lower right-hand side of your taskbar or of your desktop. You understand? If you think the date and time there is wrong, you can just click on it and then you do your settings here. I think we did that last 2 days. You can reset your date and time over here. I hope you understand. That makes it more user-friendly, like I told you before. It makes it more user-friendly. So you now know the difference between the 2 operating systems, the character user interface operating system and the graphical user interface operating system. Let's give examples of a character user interface operating system. An example of a character user interface operating system is like the DOS. DOS is DOS. It means that it's an acronym for Disk Operating System. Disk Operating System. So DOS means Disk Operating System. It's a type of operating system that was used in the ancient times. So Microsoft Corporation, who develops the operating system that we are using currently, started with the DOS operating system. So they started using the commands. Then later they moved towards graphical user interface. So they started with 95. So Windows 95 was developed in 95. Then they later came to Windows 98. Windows 98 was developed in 98. Then they later came to Windows XP. Windows XP was developed in 2000. That is the millennium time. So between the year 2000 and 2001, there was another operating system that came, but it didn't last, the Windows Millennium. You understand? Then from Windows Millennium, we came to the Windows 7. Then we came to Windows 8. Now we are using the Windows 10. Quite recently, they've launched the Windows 11. I think last year or so, and they've launched the Windows 11. So Windows 11 is the current operating system that we are using now. You understand? So I'm mentioning some graphical user interface operating systems for you. Then when we talk about the character user interface, we have the DOS, like I said earlier on. We have an operating system like the Unix. Unix is spelled U-N-I-X. The X, the times one, not the symbol one, the times one. So U-N-I-X. Then we have the DOS, we have the Unix, we have there's another version of Linux operating system that is purely character user interface. Purely character user interface. So you should just take note of that one too. However, there is no way, someone raised the hand. Evans.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. You were talking about the another character of Linux. Then what about Ubuntu? Is it also part of it? Or?
Ubuntu is another version of Linux. Just like we have another version of Windows as Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. So Ubuntu is another version of Linux. Okay, another version of Linux too is Red Hat. So you have Ubuntu, Linux Red Hat, Linux Ubuntu. We even have Linux SUSE. You understand? There are many of them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome. Okay, so fast forward. We also have some of the graphical user interfaces are the Macintosh OS. The Macintosh OS. Even on our portable devices, we have mentioned them iOS, Android. Android is an operating system that we use on our portable devices. You understand? iOS, Apple, they are all operating systems that we use on our portable devices. I hope you understand. Now let's come to application softwares. The application softwares. Application softwares are additional programs that are installed on the computer to perform specialized tasks. Okay, according to users' instructions. There are applications that are installed on the computer to perform specialized tasks according to users' instructions. The last time when we started rolling up the forms, some people went online and they just filled anything because they just want to learn everything about computer. Even me, that I'm teaching you right now, I don't know everything about computer. Computer is very wide. So you have to specialize. You have to specialize in a particular field. Spreadsheet applications is an example of application softwares. So spreadsheets, usually the spreadsheet is used by the accountants. You understand? They use the spreadsheet a lot. So if you're an accountant, you just come and then we train you to specialize in the use of spreadsheets. You understand? And then you gain mastery in it, and then you use it to work. Now, these applications will serve as a tool for the professional. The computer itself is entirely a tool, okay, for everyone. But specifically, you must specialize in particular fields. You understand? Your field of specialization has a tool in the computer that you can specialize in to enhance on your performance. That is how it goes. So accountants work with spreadsheets. If I mention accountants and I mention spreadsheets, if you're an accountant, you will know what I'm talking about. That means that you have an idea of what a spreadsheet is in your mind. So what is a spreadsheet? An example of a spreadsheet is like saying Excel. Excel is a spreadsheet application. You understand? We have another kind of spreadsheet we call the Lotus 123. Lotus 123. It's also another kind of spreadsheet applications that the accountants use. We have database management softwares, the DBOS, the DBMS, sorry, not OS, database management systems. So an example of a database management system is like Access. Okay, Microsoft Access is a database management software. Another example of a database management software is the DBase application. Another one is SQL. Another one is the Oracle. Another one is the FoxPro. All that I'm mentioning are database management softwares that you can use in the computer. So if you have a computer and you are a database administrator and you don't have SQL or Oracle that can perform complex tasks, you can just go in for Access. Access also does same. So that when you're able to, in the future, when you're able to get money to buy SQL or Oracle, you can export your data from Access onto those complex applications, and it works perfectly. We have accounting softwares. We have accounting softwares too. We have an example of an accounting software is the Tally. The Tally. ArcPack is there. We have the Sage. We have SPS and all of that. We have desktop operating systems. Desktop publications. We have the Photoshop. We have the CorelDRAW. We have the Publisher, and so on and so forth. Now, there is another software that so many people don't know is an application software. We have the web browser applications. The web browser application is a software that connects your computer to the internet. It connects your computer to the internet. Even on your mobile phone, you realize that you have so many applications on your phone. But anytime you want to connect onto the internet to look for specific informations, you look for maybe Google Chrome,